So how do you go back from the 19C database now running multi-tenant architecture to the 12.2 database in the non-CDB mode? This is the puzzle we have here, and we're going to see in the next slides how to solve it. So as Mike said already, there is no way to reverse the non-CDB to PDB conversion. And the reason there is no way to reverse it is because the move to multi-tenant architecture is more than an upgrade. This is a migration. So the usual fallback methods that we have, like the downgrade will only work if you go back to the CDB architecture. It won't work to the non-CDB architecture, or the flashback. The flashback also doesn't work when you convert from non-CDB to PDB. So we need to find out a way, and usually the way is a logical migration way. So the only possible fallback options in this case is using data pump or golden gate. Transportable table spaces won't work again because it only works on the same version, and plug into the source version CDB. When you run the downgrade, it works. However, again, you're gonna be in the multi-tenant architecture in your source database, not in the non-CDB. So looking those methods, what we can try is to mix some of them to get the result we want. And that's what we are gonna do. So imagine again, we are here in the 19C database running in the CDB architecture, and we want go back. What we can do is we can downgrade, unplug, plug, and cat reload in the 12.201 database, but now we have a 12.201 database running in the CDB architecture, not in the non-CDB. But now that we are already in the 12.201 database, what we can do next is use transportable table spaces to now move from this version to the same version in the non-CDB architecture. And this is supported by the transportable table spaces. So splitting the process in these two phases, we can achieve what we want. And now let's take a look in the full process in this next video. So first I run ls patches to show the patches installed. And this is a 12.201 database with the July 2021 RU applied. So first I will create a brand new database in 12.201 as a non-CDB database. And the BCA will run. I use the general purpose template. It takes some time, but here I'm speeding up the process. Now that this database is created, I will connect on it. I will create a user called test, run DBA to this user, create a tools table space just to put some data inside. And I will create a new table on this table space called test table, name is T1. As a select star from DBA tables, it has about 2,000 rows inside. Okay, now that I have my database ready to be upgraded, let me create the upgrade.config file, which will be used by auto upgrade process. So here I put my source SID, my source home, my target CDB, because I'm doing the non-CDB to CDB conversion as well in this upgrade. And that's it, this is my file. So first I run the analyze mode of auto upgrade. It takes some time, but here I'm speeding up the process, so analyze is done. Now we are gonna run the fits up step of the upgrade. So again, the fits up step will check what was analyzed and do some fits. And that's it, also no errors. So the fits up is done. Now what I'm gonna do is stop this database, because here I'm using auto upgrade with the two servers approach. So this server is running the 12.201 database, and I have another one running the 19C database. So what I'm gonna do is after I shut it down, I will move all my data files from this server to the other server. So first I'm moving the data files. Now I'm gonna move the password file and the ASP file. Next, I'm gonna move the auto upgrade log folder that was created in this server, and also the auto upgrade config file that I just created. Okay, now all the steps are done in this server. Let's move to the 19C server. So as you could see here, the background color changes. We are now in the 19C server. I will create some folders, the audit desk folder, the fast recovery area folder, just to copy the control file to there. And thus I can start this database. So I will start this ORCL database in upgrade mode. Okay, and now this database is started. Okay, next what I'm gonna do is run dbca to create a brand new CDB19C database. But here, the last line, as you can see, compatible with 12.2.0. So this will be a CDB database that I'm gonna use to plug this 12.2 database that I'm upgrading and converting to this CDB architecture. So this process takes a bit more time because I'm not using the general purpose template. It's gonna deploy the database from scratch and install each component individually as I'm requiring a specific compatible value here for this database. Okay, now that the database is created, I will just run ls patches to show that this is a 19.13 database. Okay, just taking a look again in my auto-upgrade.config file. So the last step is to call auto-upgrade with the upgrade mode. So I call it, and from time to time I can call lsj to check my job status. So 23% upgraded. Again, it shows 73%. Now it's in the non-CDB to PDB conversion phase. Again, I'm speeding up the process. It's not that fast. It's fast, but not that fast. And finally, my upgrade is done. So now if I connect in this CDB19C, I see that my PDB 12C is there. This is my 12.201 database converted to this database. And when I change the container, I can see my table there. Now, as you can see, the compatible is 12.2.0. Now let's imagine a situation where we go live and we create some new data on this database. So I created the table called test.t2 table here. Okay, so this is a post go live. But now you decide that you need to fall back to the 12.2.01 release after the go live. So what do? We need to start the fallback process. The first step is to clean the unified audit trail area. This is a requirement to downgrade the database. So I clean it. Now again, listing my PDBs, I will close the pluggable database that I'm downgrading and open it in downgrade mode. Okay. Now that my database is open in the downgrade mode, I call db downgrade, specifying the PDB that I want to downgrade. And this process also takes some time. I speed up here. It's not that fast. I will check for any errors in the cat downgrade log file. There isn't any, as you can see. Now I connect back in my CDB and close this pluggable database because I will move it back to my previous server. So I unplug it, and now that I unplug it, I can drop it. I'm not dropping the files here, I'm just dropping this metadata from this database, this 19C database. Okay, now I need to move back the data files and this XML file for the unplug back to the 12.2 server. So I call rsync to move them back. And also the unplug.xml file that I created. Now let's go back to the 12.2.01 database. Okay, the first step here is to create a 12.2.01 database now in container database mode. You remember that we cannot go from CDB to non-CDB. So first I need to create this database in CDB mode in 12.2.01 so I can plug back this 12.2 that we are downgrading. Okay, so again, the the DBC process is run. Now I connect in this CDB12C that I created. Okay, and right now it only has the PDB01. So I will change the unplugged XML file just to adapt the path of the data files I have. And now I will create a pluggable database using the XML file that I moved from the 19C database. I will open this PDB12C in upgrade mode. And finally, I will call cat reload. So cat reload will reload all the dictionary objects on this database. It takes some time to run. And finally, when it finishes, we have the database reloaded in the 12.2.1 release. I created this cat reload log file for any errors. As you can see here, there wasn't any. So finally, I will connect in CDB12C database. I will close this PDB and open it back in read-write mode. And now I have this PDB open in read-write. I can alter session to connect on it. And here I can create in my table test.t1 and test.t2. So right now we already downgraded, but we are still in the CDB architecture. So the final step is to get out from the CDB architecture to the non-CDB. And this is what we do using the transportable tablespace method. So first I will connect in the CDB12C again. I will change to the PDB and I will list all the table spaces I have. So I put this tools table space in read-only mode and also the users table space in read-only mode. Those two table spaces are the only table spaces which are not system table spaces in this database. And I also changed the default table spaces for test user to system, because when I call XPDP as this test user, it's gonna create some underlying tables. And if my default table spaces was the one which is in read-only mode, I would get an error here. So I run the full transportable table space. And now it's exporting everything from that pluggable database. It takes some time to finish because it exports all the objects we have inside. And as you can see here, it's gonna list the dump file and the two database files that you need to import in the other database. So now I put back the default table space for test user as users because I changed it before. Finally, I will connect in my ORCL database, but I will place these database files in the correct place before calling in PDB. And also I'm copying the dump file to the right location here. And the last step is to call in PDB here using the transport data files pointing to those two data files. And I'm also remapping tablespace users to users new because I already have a tablespace users inside of this database. And the process finishes. As you could see, there was 4 errors, but those are existing object errors. We can safely ignore them. And finally, if I connect in this ORCL database, as I can see here, I have my data back in this non-CDB database in the 12.2 release.